Hello Day Today viewers from the Stuart Peterson Advisory Team. Here's your Day Week in Review, wrapping up the week of March 2nd, 2012. Recapping the trading week here on Friday, we did see some widespread gains really across the entire dairy complex through the majority of the week, but that certainly wasn't the case here on Friday as we saw sellers return to the cash cheese market and really put some pressure on that Class 3 market, which we'll get to in just a minute. But looking at cheese for the week, we were up, which was positive. Blocks and barrels both finishing at 148, so good to see some gains there, although some of those gains were given back here today as those sellers once again came off the sidelines and really put some more pressure on the market. Moving to butter, we did see some gains there, some really good gains. Actually, butter finishing right at 145, up over 3 pennies for the week. Moving to powders, April whey just up a touch, really flirting with that 50-cent mark as April's moved to that second month contract, and April non-fat dry milk was down for the week, down 2 pennies. Now taking a look at our Class 3 milk price for the week, as you can see, it doesn't look like a whole lot happened throughout the week. It looks like some mixed trade with both gains and losses across the board, but that certainly wasn't the case for the majority of the week. We really did see some strong gains, more specifically for April and May. Compared to last week's lows, April was up 80 cents in yesterday's trade, and May was up 65 cents compared to last week's lows. So as you can see, just from today, how significant those losses were, completely erasing the entire week's worth of gains and dipping back into negative territory. So starting with our front month contract now, March, up 7 cents for the week, and once again, April, May hit the hardest, getting back into that sub 15 level. As you can see, April at 14.99, May at 14.96. Further out than that, June through August weren't hit quite as hard and actually had some gains. June up 4, August up 12, and July down 2 cents for the week. Class 4 milk prices were pressured lower this week as well. As you can see on the board, not quite as much as butter moved higher, but as you can see, the front month just down a penny for March. April, May down 10 and 2 cents. June hit the hardest, down 15 cents. July was unchanged for the week, finishing right at 16, and August down 9 cents at 16.20. The February contracts came off the board in yesterday's trade, so we did get the class and component settlement prices this morning, so we'll go ahead and take a look at those and how significant the losses were compared to January's prices. As you can see, both class and components were down across the board, so we'll start with our Class 2 milk price, and that was down 73 cents, finishing right at 16.94, so very steep losses there. Class 3 down hard as well, almost down a buck, down 99 cents, finishing at 16.06. Class 4 to round out the pack, finishing down 64 cents at 15.92. Components were hit hard as well, looking at cheese finishing just above 154, butter finishing just above 147. Dry whey was hit pretty hard as well, finishing right at 64 even, and non-fat dry milk to finish out the components, finishing just above 137. Flipping over the charts, we'll take a look at the Class 3 April milk chart, and this is on a daily chart, so it'll give us really a play-by-play of this past week's trade. And we'll go ahead and start with last Friday's trade. As you can see, we had some gains there to finish out the week, and we extended those gains to start the week here on Monday. This green candlestick here had some double-digit gains to start the week, so starting on a good note. Tuesday, we reverted back and gave back some of those gains, but overall the losses were pretty minimal. Then going to Wednesday, once again, some very strong gains on Wednesday. Thursday, even tacking on more, and once again noting 80 cents that has been tacked on since last week's lows, so very good rally throughout the week. But as you can see here, going on Friday, just how significant the losses were. April was down, the limit down 75 cents very briefly, but was down 75 cents the limit, so good to see we did bounce back above that, finish the week right at 14.99. Taking a look at the international markets, we did get the latest Oceania biweekly survey, so that really gives us a snapshot of where prices have been trading over the last 2 weeks, and more specifically for cheese. As you can see, cheese did soften a little bit, down 4.8%. When we look at the overall range that it has been trading over the last 2 weeks, on the high end was $2, on the low end just shy of 160 at 159, but most importantly is that average price just under 180, finishing at 179. So it was a pretty steep drop. We'll flip over the charts to take a closer look at just how significant that drop was. So this chart does represent where the Oceania cheese prices have been trending over the last 3 years. Most recently, the blue line representing this year. And overall, you can see it's been pretty choppy. No real clear trend developing until this last report. As you can see, this pretty extensive move lower here, about 9 cents when compared to the previous report. That 179, once again, we were at. When we look at the past years and really where we've traded in the same time period, looking back at last year, we were above $2, and as you can see, we really flattened out, extended the gains going into the midpoint of the year, and then started to lose the value going into the second half of the year. So it doesn't look like we're on that track. I guess going back a little bit further, 2010, as you can see here, the red line does look like we're about on that same track there for Oceania prices, so we could see a bottom come in maybe in the next 2 to 4 weeks here, as you can see, if that price action is going to trend in that same pattern. So looking into next week, a few key reports to keep an eye out for. The first one being the January Dairy Products Report, which was actually released this afternoon. We haven't seen the numbers just quite yet, so you will have to check back next Friday. Also, other reports, Global Dairy Trade Auction, Tuesday, March 6th, so we'll get another snapshot of where some of those international prices are trending. Also, to close out the week, our January Dairy Exports Report coming out on Friday, March 9th. And that will be the first 2012 export report, so a pretty critical report when we look at the demand side of the equation. From the Stewart Peterson Advisory Team, I'm Rocky Ging. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.